Peppercoat Barbecue, and welcome back to the Peppercoat Deck. It's been a while since I lit a fire in the Oklahoma Joe's Bronco, so today I'm going to take you all the way from lighting the fire to finish on a smoked ham. But we're not going to pull and slice this at 145. We're going to take this whole ham, bone in, all the way up to around 203 or 205, like we would do a pork butt or a pork shoulder when we're making pulled pork barbecue. But instead of finishing it off with barbecue sauce, we're going to make a pineapple and brown sugar glaze to put over the top of it. And man, I can almost promise you that when you try this yourself, this is going to be your new favorite way to make ham for the holidays or just on a snowy Sunday. I like to use about a 50-50 mix of briquettes and lump. I think that gives a good flavor, and it also keeps the fire regulated pretty good with the briquettes in here. We'll throw some cherry and pecan splits on top. I'm going to tuck a tumbleweed down here on the side, light it up, and drop it in. The ham we're using is a shank portion ham. It's 9.6 pounds. This has already been cured, and it has already been smoked, so it's fully cooked. So there's really not a lot to do as far as the preparation other than get it out of the plastic, and then I'm going to trim off the skin. I left most of the fat on here, but a little of that came off with the skin. That's all I'm going to do to this ham. Now, you could season yours. You could put some pepper on here. Wouldn't recommend using a rub that's got a lot of salt in it because this ham is going to be really salty anyway. And we're going to sweeten that up with that pineapple and brown sugar glaze at the end. It's 6:30 now. Finally putting this ham on the smoker. I'm going to leave it here for about 6 hours. I mixed up this simple glaze with 1.5 cups of pineapple juice, 1.5 cups of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and then 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. So it's real simple glaze. I just brought this to a boil slowly. I'm going to let this simmer for about 5 minutes and remove it from the heat. It is 12:24 a.m. This thing has been rocking and rolling on here for 6 hours. I'm going to tell you, this is why I love the Oklahoma Joe, because I have only been out here twice to make some slight temperature adjustments. It's 24 degrees tonight, and this thing has been rocking and rolling steady, 225 to about 245. But we're going to pull this off and get in the house. We got some nice color, but there's still a lot of fat to render out. And this glaze that we made a little earlier, I'm going to pour about half of this over top. This will give just a little bit of liquid in here to start the braising process. Now, I'm just going to wrap this with aluminum foil. And then we're going to put this back in the oven. I've got the oven set on 225 degrees. I've got my probe set to go off when it hits 203 degrees internal. So at that point, I'll get up and then just set it on warm to hold until we're ready for lunch tomorrow. Now let's go to bed. Just got the alarm that we're up to 203 degrees internal temperature. So I'm going to pull this out of the oven now, set it up here to rest for maybe an hour, hour and a half or something. Just let it cool down a little bit naturally. And I know these are cute. I did have to come in here this morning around 8 o'clock and bump the temperature up to 285 in the oven because the internal temperature at the time was only about 185 degrees, and we wanted to have this for lunch today. So it was 6 hours in the smoker. It's been 10 hours in the oven to hit that 203, and we'll let it rest. It's been about an hour and a half. Our internal temperature has come back down to around 170. So we're going to unwrap it and see what we got. You can see how different this looks from what it was when we put it in the oven last night. And we weren't really going for a bark when we smoked this on the smoker. We just wanted to get that nice smoky flavor on it. You can see all the liquids that are in here now where the fat and the juices have cooked out of this ham. Time to pull this ham. Let's see how easy this bone comes out. Look at that. Man, it doesn't get any easier than that. There's a smaller one here. slight twist, pulls right out. This thing is cooked to perfection. So I'm just going to start pulling this and putting it over here into this other pan. It's easier if you use two pans. If you just want to use one, that's fine. I like to use two. Now, some of this is on the outside where the skin and where the fat was. I'm not going to pull that and put that into my ham. If you want to do that with yours, then help yourself. But I'm going to separate out all of the fat and the unrendered parts. And I'm just putting the lean meat over here into my new pan. Once I get all this ham pulled, I got the bones and some of those fatty pieces out. And I'm just going to take some of this juice that cooked out of the ham, along with the glaze that we made yesterday. I'm going to mix that together. Now, you can put this in a separator and separate the fat out of it. But I like to keep a little of that fat in there. Helps to coat that meat. Gives it a little extra flavor. Adds a little velvety texture to it. So I'm just straining this when I put it in the jar. Give this a little mix. I'm going to take my glaze and I'm just going to pour this over top this ham. I'm not going to use all of this because some people may want to dip their ham in the glaze to get extra. I just want it all to have a little on it. And as this sets, and especially if it sets in the fridge and you warm it up, it's going to soak into that ham and just give it another layer of flavor. So once we have that done, just give it a little mix. Now for everybody's favorite part, or especially my favorite part, let's see what we got. Let's see if our 16 or 18 hours worth of waiting was worth it. Oh, yeah. That is so good. I'm telling you, I think this is going to be your new favorite way to make ham. That glaze on there, it's got a little fruitiness, a little sweet. You can pick up a little bit of the cinnamon and cloves, but it's not overpowering at all. I get a little smokiness from when we smoked it on the Oklahoma Joe Bronco for that first 6 hours. I'm telling you, this is absolutely great. Drop a comment. Let me know if you've tried this or if you smoke a ham, how you do yours. But I'll see you next time on Peppercoat Barbecue.